Welcome to edusati.com, your partner in education. In this lecture, we'll discuss the concept of parasummary. Now, parasummary questions are usually asked and they test your wit uh, in the form that they check your understanding about the passage. That whatever has been said in the passage, can you summarize it into a smaller version? And all the alternatives are more or less similar, just that you need to understand what exactly is stated in the paragraph. Is is it what these alternatives saying or not, right? If you understand what do we mean by the summary of the passage, you'll be able to answer these questions very conveniently. Now, para summary questions ask you to write the given paragraph in a very concise form, that is a very short form. In the junior classes, we used to write precis in our in the language skills. You were given a passage and you were to write that in one third of the in one third of the words, right? It is an extension to this very thing. You to just write the entire passage in the most concise form. That is it, and it it is a it combines your reasoning ability with your understanding. So whenever you're writing the summary, you must understand the passage one and then be able to put the entire passage in the minimal of the words used, right? Before we move further, we'll discuss what do we understand by summary of the passage and what do we understand by the plot or the theme of the passage. Now, now the theme of the passage is the reason why are we writing the passage. What is our basic concern or what is the basic purpose of the writing? If I'm writing the story, what is my motive behind writing the story? I want to make people understand something. Usually we call it as the moral of the story, right? So what is the reason why am I writing this entire passage? That becomes the theme of the passage. The plot basically is that how am I sequencing the things in the passage. Now I have decided why am I writing. I'll start formulating, like, how can I convey this message. Okay, I'll choose some characters. What will they do? Okay, what will happen next so as my message is conveyed? That is the plot. That is the blueprint of my story. And lastly, the summary is a brief description. When you have written the entire thing, how will you summarize that the entire passage or the entire story, this thing is happening. So these are the characters, they are doing this happens, and this is the ultimate end. This becomes the summary. How is it different from the plot? Plot is the basic, the just the skeletal thing, that how what will be the what would be the sequencing of the events in the entire story. And the entire story, after it's being detailed, if I have to just write it in the concise form, I'll say it to be a summary. Let's take an example, we'll get a better explanation. For example, we have a story called Thirsty Crow. We've all heard the story since our childhood. We know what exactly happens in the story. So what is the theme of the story? Why is the story written? Because the message that the author wants to convey is that where there is a will, there is a way. This is what came in his mind, and he wanted the people to understand this thing, that whenever you are into a problem, you just need to be you must be ready to face that problem, and if you are ready, you'll be able to survive that problem, you'll be able to come across that problem, right? Come over that problem. So where there is a will, there is the way is the theme of the message or the story. What is the plot? While writing, the author might have thought that he'll take some of the other animal character, and to make you understand that where there's a will, there's a way, he'll say, show him craving for some of the other things. It could be anything. And then he'll do something and he'll get successful. And by reading this entire plot or the story, you'll be able to understand and interpret that, okay, where there is a will, there is a way. Right. Then he wrote the entire story. He chose the character to be the crow, right? So he chose the character to be the crow, um, and he needs water, and he finds the water in a pot, and he puts pebbles, and etc. 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 And then finally he drinks and flies away. So this is the plot of the story. So the plot was that he'll choose any character, he'll choose any that'll crave for any of the other thing, and etc. etc. And the story is that the chosen character was a crow who needs water, and the things happen. He drinks the water and he flies away. Now, what is the summary? The summary is one line explanation to the entire story. Now, the summary is a thirsty crow which finds water in the pot, puts some pebbles in the pot so as the water level rises. It finally drinks the water and flies away. Right? Now, how is it different from the theme? The theme was the reason or the concern, what I want you to understand out of this entire episode. I want you to understand that wherever there is a will, there is a way. How do I do that? By telling you a story of a crow which finds water in a pot, and since it cannot reach the water, it puts some pebbles so as the water level rises, and he drinks the water and runs away. So this became the summary. So summary and theme are two different things. And the plot is also another third dimension to this triangle. Theme is the essence or the reason of writing. Plot is the blueprint, and summary is the concise form of the entire article. Right? Theme is the reason, plot is the blueprint, summary is the concise form of the article. Right? Now let's discuss how is the question framed. So they'll be giving you some or the other passage, and they'll ask you to find what is the what is the summary of the given passage, what he does, how are the options framed. If we understand this, we'll be able to understand how do we answer the question more conveniently. First option, he'll give you the theme of the passage. For example, instead of writing there was a crow, he was very thirsty, etc. etc. He'll simply write where there is a will, there is a way. And we being the students or the respondents will think, okay, this is what he's talking about. He's just said the same thing. When I read this, I could understand, but mind it, this is your understanding. This is not the summary of the passage. Summary concerns with the subject, with the main characters as well. So the summary must have a mention of the characters as well. Right? So the theme is the basic moral or the understanding that we have developed. And we being the respondents may think or may confuse it to be the summary. We will say, okay, this is something that we've understood. And since we've understood this, this is the correct option. No, it is not. Right? Next option. Next, he'll give you the summary itself, wherein he'll mention all these characters that are playing a part in the entire paragraph. He'll also tell you the sequence of the activities, the skeletal story itself, the entire passage in the skeletal form that will be presented to you. Third thing would be the plot of the passage. Instead of mentioning the animals directly or the characters directly, he'll just give you the plot. Okay, there is, for example, there is a character that needs something. So any person who needs something has to do a little much of hard work to achieve success. This is the plot of the story. Right? Now, I may confuse it to be the summary, but the summary must have the mention of the crow, because summary is the skeletal, concise form of the entire passage. So the option C would be the plot of the passage. Another option can be just a sentence that is an extension to the paragraph. So after the paragraph ends, the next line would be presented to you as an option. And you may think, now they are related, so this is the summary. But no, the summary is the concise form again. For example, if this story of the thirsty crow is presented, you will be told, the crow now comes often to drink water, but collect pebbles beforehand. Now, this is something to do, an extension to the something that was talked in the passage, right? So, this is not the correct option. Mind it. Third, next, uh, any inference or any conclusion that we draw. Again, what do you understand from this passage? That would be presented to you as an option. And since you've understood it, you have this whole tendency of marking that as an option. But no, that is incorrect. Right? So the major players must be mentioned in the summary. The major events must be mentioned in the summary. Right? For example, the inference is that the thirst of the crow could be quenched only by the water available in the pot. This is not something that we can draw as a conclusion. No. Why? Because, sorry, this is something that we can draw as a conclusion, but this is not something that we can take to be the summary. Why? Because we are not mentioning what did he do, what all things did he do, and how did he reach. It is something that we can understand from this passage, but it is just a conclusion. It is not the summary. It is missing the events of the activities, right? So that way, although it mentions the basic character, but it is missing the events. Next, any sentence that is loosely related to the topic, right? Okay, you read an option as animals or birds sometimes act wise in gathering water and quenching their thirst. There's some not related to the topic. Okay, fine. We could read that a crow was thirsty and he quenched his thirst by acting wise, but that does not mean that it is the summary. It misses the crow itself. It is something that relates to the topic, but it is very loosely related. It is not the actual summary. It does not summarize the entire passage, right? Another would be an example that is not mentioned in the paragraph. For example, the above paragraph is discussing uh, some of the other problem that the Indians face in some of the other region of the world, right? And what happens is that there is no example that's given in the paragraph, but one option is discussing it is discussing it is taken as an example to the given problem, right? So what happens is we have this whole tendency of marking that as an option, but that example is not mentioned in the paragraph, so you will not mark that as an example. That is for sure, right? Next, how do we solve the question? We'll identify the subject of the paragraph. That is, by subject I mean the main characters, right? So by the subject I mean the main characters and also the events. We identify them. Then we'll sequence them in our mind. You know, what exactly is happening. Then we make them or formulate them in our own words. For example, if let's take the example of the thirsty crow itself. My major character is crow. Event: he's thirsty. It needs water. Collect pebbles. Put them into the pot. Drinks water. Runs away, right, or flies away. I have put them into my own words that a thirsty crow collected pebbles put them into the pot of the water and drank the water and ran away or flew away, right? So this is the something, and then I'll evaluate or correlate my understanding or my summary with the available options. So mind it, the summary must make a mention of the subjects plus the events. So these two things must be a part of the summary, come what may. So this is really important, right? Let's take some examples. Just pause this video for a second and read the question and try and answering the question. Now, after I've read this entire passage, I can make out one thing, that this passage, first few lines, is discussing the regions and like it's telling that the food has been like it is related to the region. So it is introducing a concept here. Then it is taking some examples from here in hot climates, and till the end it is discussing the examples. So and in the examples it is discussing the Arctic region, Europe, and hot regions, as well as India. So these are the four things that it is making a mention in this passage. So all these four things plus the region and the food must be a part of my summary, which is a very, very logical thing, right? So whichever alternative I choose as my answer must make a mention of all these things. Alternative D is just making a mention of Arctic things, India, and that's it, right? So it misses region and food, it misses Europe, it is missing the hot climate. Alternative D, C is making a mention of hot countries, Arctic, that's it. Misses all the others. Even that is not the summary. Alternative B is making a mention of hot climate, and that is it. But alternative A talks about the region and the food, and then it tells about Arctic and other things. So that is the most appropriate answer. So I'll mark the answer as alternative A. Right? Let's take another example. Again, pause the video and try and answering the question. Now, this question introduces a concept and gives you an example to justify the concept as that of a van. So both these things must be a part of my summary. So we must introduce the van as well as the concept, right? Alternative D and A are just discussing the concept of just discussing the van. It becomes very pertinent. It is especially A if you are planning to buy a van and it misses the concept itself. It misses the concept, so it becomes an incorrect option. Likewise, option number D also is eliminated. Why? Because it misses the concept. Right? Option number C and B. C says before choosing an alternative, experience its consequences if feasible. Always try before you buy anything. You are bound to discover many consequences. One of the consequences before. Now, if I read option number C, okay, till here it is correct. But then it starts discussing the van and it is just discussing one problem that is mentioned in the passage. But it is not discussing the van as an example of the concept. Right, so I'll remove this as from my alternative list and I'll take option number B as my answer. Very simple explanation. A and D are not following the concept. They do not make the mention of the concept. They go. See, although it does make the concept, the mention of the concept, but it presents the example of the van in a most in an inappropriate way. So even that is removed. I am left with option number B as the answer. Let's take another example. It was asked in CAT 2003, right? So just read the question and try and answer the question, right? Now, if I have read this passage nicely, I'll try and I'll try and summarize it, right? If I read this, I come across that some decisions will be fairly obvious, no-brainers. Now, although no-brainers is written next to some decision, it does not mean that we call such things as no-brainers, right? It's just that it's an extension to the given line, right? And easy decisions called no-brainers, and some decisions, and here some decisions are no-brainers. Both of them are contradicting what is being presented in this line. So both of them would be removed from my alternative list. If I read option number D, it is just presenting an example that is being talked about in this paragraph. It is just giving you an example. It is missing the essence itself. So even I'll remove that from my alternative list and I'm left with alternative A as the answer. Again, an explanation. B and C present the concept in an inappropriate manner. D is just giving you the example. The only alternative left is alternative A as the answer. Another example that was asked in CAT 2004. Kindly pause the video and try and answer the question. Now, if you've read the entire passage, you'll first of all remove alternative C and D. Why? Because he says that there's a discomfort or you're not very okay while you went to the school for the first time. But here you're saying that you encountered hardships. So you're violating what has been said in the passage. It contradicts the passage, right? It is not what was presented in the passage. Both of them are removed from the list, right? Secondly, if I read the last line, this will disarm their hostility. This part of the sentence says that if you treat the people without any negative thoughts or prejudices, you'll be able to come over with them. You'll make friends them easily. Is not presented in this line, in this option, but it is presented in the option number B. So the last line should also be mentioned in the paragraph because it is a very different thought in itself and all the thoughts have to be presented into the summary. So alternative B would be the most appropriate summary to the given passage. Right? C and D are removed. Why? Because they contradict what is being said into the passage, and A is removed because it is incomplete. It misses the last line. Right? So this is how we summarize the passage. Well, this gets us to the end of the discussion of para summary as well. Uh, just practice a lot many questions that relates to this concept. And if you've got any doubts, you can redo this entire window. Thank you so much and have a nice day.